r/entitledparents. Posted by u/Murgeruni. Little entitled crap eats crab in aquarium store and mom defends him. Alright boys and girls, this seems super unbelievable, but when you have been working in the pet trade as a sales associate for long enough in weird areas, you start to see your fair share of entitled kids and shit-stained parents. My first of many stories, so don't be too harsh. For context, I work at a mom and pop pet store in the eastern US, and while my expertise is in aquatics, I try to be a jack of all trades. The day that this happened was rather uneventful until this point, all up until little shit, LS, and pig fucker, PF, entered the store. My store was pretty modest, so it was fairly easy to see customers come in and out, especially in the fish department, so I got first look at this magnificent creatures, a 40-something-year-old woman talking on her cell, her hair obviously dyed blonde and outfit practically screaming midlife crisis while her child was in tow. The kid must have been 7 or 8, the kid playing on his Switch, his shirt covered in what looked like a mixture of pizza sauce, soda, and plenty of mystery stains. At first things were pretty normal, the kid originally not caring about anything in the store while PF was getting enraged at him for not paying attention, though that changed rather fast. PF and LS were near the ferrets when PF took LS's Switch, immediately causing a reaction of screaming and pouting before being distracted by some of the fish over in my department. Alright, a bit of unnecessary information, but the way my store's fish department is set up is that 2/5 ths of it is fresh water, 2/5 ths is equipment, and the rest is salt water. Given we weren't really known for salt water, we only kept pretty generic yet sought after fish like hippotangs, various clownfish, 6-line wrasses, etc. The thing about the first two is because of Finding Nemo, kids are always drawn to the Dories or Nemos. Alright. That all in mind, the first thing LS did was head over to the small assortment of hippotangs we had, practically pressing his shit-covered face against the glass as he yelled out Dory, as loud as he could. PF hailed me down from algae scrubbing, and this started the encounter. I like to act casual around the workplace as I find it lowers any sort of anxiety a customer has and makes me way more approachable. First thing out of my mouth was, "Me, hey there, how's your night going? Need help with something?" PF started out our encounter with a roll of the eyes before pointing to the tang and demanding a price with a simple but rude, "PF, how much for this thing?" Was the way she said it that was rude. After shifting gears from a casual standing to a more professional one, I simply told her that the tang was $160, he was a good-sized tang. Of course she scoffed, but what came next was a bit more worrying. PF pulled out $30 from her purse and placed it on the desk we used to bag fish, saying in an aggravated tone, "PF, that's all you're getting, bag him." Things start to go poorly from here. It's worth noting that it was 9:15 at this point, the store having closed 15 minutes ago, though we make it a policy not to ask customers to leave until 9:30. It was just my manager and myself at this point, my manager in the office closing down registers, so essentially it was like I was the only employee in the store. Seeing PF placing the $30 on the table, I raised an eyebrow before leaning against the wall, simply asking her, "Me, do you have a saltwater tank?" She didn't take this well. She screamed without a second passing, "PF, none of your fucking business, now bag my fish, you cocky little shit." I simply refused and slid her $30 back towards her before she slid it back, now more pissed off. "PF, I'm going to get your ass fired if you don't bag my fish right now." At this, LS was getting pissed at the interaction, screaming like a banshee about how he wanted the tang, still referring to it as Dory, and beginning to stomp his feet in a tantrum. Soon enough I was asking them to leave. So this is where I fucked up. I should have called the cops at this point, knowing that she wasn't going to leave without a fight. LS was on the floor at this point, pounding his fists to the floor as snot dripped down his face as PF tried to gild me. "PF, sorry sweetie, this guy doesn't want you to have the fish, he's perfectly fine with you having no fish friend to make you happy." At this point she turned back up to me. "PF, do you see what you did, you stupid fuck? You are breaking my angel's heart because you're being too much of a Jew to sell me the fish." Internally I was laughing. This kind of situation happened now and again, but the antisemitism was a new one. I had figured everything was starting to resolve at this point, though I was mistaken. LS flipped. Shit. You know how some opera singers can break glass with their voice? This kid would have a knack for something like that. LS was screaming as loud as humanly possible at this point as he managed to reach into the tank. At last my manager had made his way out of the office and watching what was going on. LS grabbed a piece of live rock, accidentally grabbing a long spine urchin. Angry screaming turned right to wails of pain as he pulled a rock out of the tank, a poor little pom-pom crab in tow. At this point I was less focused on the kid but more focused on making sure my manager was calling 911, which he did. When I turned around I saw something that still gives me nightmares to this day. The kid had been clutching his hand while his mother tried to help him, something hanging out of his mouth. The poor little pom-pom crab had been crushed by the kid, LS having shoved it into his mouth and chomping down on it, leaving a little claw hanging out of his mouth. The next 2 minutes was a strange combination of astonishment and panic, myself telling the kid not to move his hand since he would break the spines of the urchin while PF began hitting me with her crappy purse screaming that I hurt her kid. Your kid shoved his hand into a tank, one with toxic animals nonetheless, foxfish rabbitfish, and did this to himself. Calm the fuck down and leave him alone so when the paramedics get here they can get the spines out. PF, how dare you? You expect me to let my angel suffer? If you just sold me the stupid fish this would have never have happened. By the end of this interaction the paramedics had arrived, restraining the kid and taking him into an ambulance as the police tried to sort things out. Unsurprisingly PF tried to pin everything on me, saying I threw an urchin at him. WTF, and he ate the crab in a panic. Equally unsurprisingly we had the entire thing on CCTV, including PF hitting me with her purse. Long story short, PF was arrested for aggravated assault as apparently she had stuffed the rock into her bag to give it the extra punch. Didn't notice until after the paramedics saw me that I was bleeding on my leg from the jagged live rock. After getting a statement the cops left. PF and LS going off to wherever the hell the cops took them and I got out of everything with 8 stitches and a $300 bonus from my boss for handling the situation without anyone getting seriously injured. From what I ended up hearing, the kid had actually got stung by the foxfish's dorsal spines and that sent him into a blind rage. The mom got a plea deal and she ended up with a huge fine, some jail time, and some other shit. In summary, I didn't sell a fish, kid flipped shit, grabbed an urchin and ate a crab, got arrested for assault. This was by far the worst situation I had ever had in the store and I still can't believe the outcome of this till this day. This was 3 years ago now. I was in work the other day when I say a pouting kid over a mom not let him get a hippo tank and this has been brought to the front of my mind ever since. Edit, at work at the moment, gonna try to find out what happened from my boss later. Just noticed an inconsistency with the timeline, Switch wasn't out yet. I personally always remember it as a Switch, though given the circumstances there is a big chance that it was an iPad or something similar in shape. Gonna leave this here just so every knows. Also, thanks a shitin for the silver. Edit, so a lot of you guys have been asking about what ended up happening to PF and LS. I had sat down with my boss this morning and asked about the events and while I didn't get all the answers I was looking for, this is what he had to say. As I've stated, I still stay up now and again wondering what could make people act this way and I did get a few answers. According to my boss, the woman PF was the wife of a known meth dealer, which didn't exactly surprise me given what happens in my town. The cops never had gotten a warrant to search their property for whatever reason, but this had given them the opportunity. From what he was told me the woman was abusing prescription antidepressants and drugs for and had a meltdown. Although I pressed charges I never was called to court and from what we could assume, PF most likely struck a deal with the police to rat out her husband. I don't know the story with LS, though it wouldn't surprise me if he was on the same toxic cocktail of drugs. In regards to the CCTV footage, he had told me that he handed it over to the police and couldn't show me for legal reasons but that there wasn't much to see other than my manager running to the sales floor. The way our CCTV cams are placed only really show part of the sales floor, the office, and the register counter. Medical bills was way easier. I have been on an expensive med not covered by most insurances for most of my life, so I've always had to pay out the ass for a really good insurance company, and this time it paid off. I ended up with a $100 charge for the ambulance, though my boss reimbursed me. Honestly, this was just a really surreal situation and it has really confused me for a while, but I'm pretty happy I got things cleared up. Hopefully PF is rotting in jail and LS is getting the love and direction he should have been getting all along. Also, holy shit guys, thanks for the gold. Thank you for listening my children. Please leave a like and subscribe and ring my bell sack to stay updated with my videos as they come out. Love you, bye.